There, it's BerniiMiller here with you today for another scrapbooking process video, and today I am creating this little layout. I based this layout on a free cut file there that you can see that I grabbed from the Paper Issues store. I grabbed it a couple of days ago as I'm determined to try and use my silhouette a little bit more. I only have a portrait size, so this cut file was perfect, and I thought that this cut file, or not thought, but I knew that this cut file would be perfect to go with the brand new Hazelwood collection that I grabbed from One Canoe 2. So I was a little bit busy before I started recording with that cut file. I hand stitched around the outside in the circle there of the dream catcher, just to give it a little bit more texture and a little bit more interest. And I also pre-prepped my page with some clear gesso before I started recording as well, because I didn't want to bore you with any of that. So I'm just going through and trying to create a nice green color to match the paper in the background there that I know that I'm going to back my white cardstock onto, and just trying to create it with using my watercolor set there on the left hand side and my Liquitex ink that I got in titanium white. So just mixing and watering down, and yeah, I've done that bit, and then I came through with some Heidi Swap color shine in the coral color, which is also perfectly matched to this collection, and just added in some of that to the background. And I'm happy with the watercolor that I've done, so I'm going to adhere down this dream catcher, which is a beautiful design, and just using my fine line applicator. And also off screen there I added, and I'm sorry, I did think that I recorded that process, but I must not have turned on the video. I just went through and added some color to the bottom of that dream catcher there. So I added some gold Heidi Swap color shine to the leaves and to some of the beads, and then I added straight from the bottle of the sea foam from Heidi Swap into the beads as well, and then some of that some of that coral color that I used in the background to add to the bottom of that dream catcher there as well. And I do apologize that my video is a little bit blurry. It does come good. I'm just still in the process of learning how to do these process videos. So please bear with me, and I hope that you can still make out what I am doing. So I was going to originally use one photo for this layout, but I decided to change my mind halfway through, and I'm going to use these two little photos that I have of myself with my two little children that was taken quite a few years ago, of a baptism that we went to here in Toowoomba, and it was probably one of the first photos that I've had with just me and my children for a very long time. So I definitely wanted to get those ones scrapped, and I turned them into black and white so that they would match this layout. I always like doing that. I do find that if I struggle with a color layout or color photo, changing it to black and white always works a treat, and it just makes it scrapbook worthy so much easier. So I'm just going through my papers there and finding which ones I want to layer behind my photo. It's hard to choose because all of the papers in this collection are just beautiful, and they all go with this background so easily. I also did those little clouds off camera as well. I just hand drew those onto some scrap pieces of cardstock that I had left over from doing a project life spread earlier, and I just traced them onto the background of the cardstock, or drew them, sorry, and then cut them out and then hand stitched around those as well, just to add a little interest. And I decided to add the clouds because I thought the dream catcher was nice and whimsical, and I thought I could have some clouds with some butterflies hanging around them. And yeah, I think it gave a nice little bit of interest as well. And I was going to use that Life is Lovely big title on the right hand side there for down the bottom, but in the end I don't use it because it's just a little bit too big. It would have worked well, but I just yeah, just ended up changing my mind. So I come in with another piece or another title from the actual cardstock collection there. And I think the title, yep, it says all good things. Sorry, got my tongue tied there. And that's just from their thickest collection that also came from the Hazelwood collection. It's great. It's got lots of different titles. So it's, yeah, really, really versatile. But I do save this, and I think I'm going to have to use it on a layout. I've got it sitting in front of me right now, and I'm just thinking I do want to try and use it on another layout. And yeah, here it is, the all good things, and I find it just is going to fit in a little bit better. And I created a couple of more clouds just so I can sit it down the bottom of the layout there, just to add that visual triangle. So trying to place that cloud, but I'll just pop it off for a little bit until I figure out exactly where I want it. And yeah, just deciding exactly where I'm going to put this title. I went looking for my tweezers. I don't know where my tweezers went to. I usually use my tweezers for these little fiddly titles to try and help me move them around, but luckily my nails were big enough to help pick them up. And I'm going to place that title down there. So yeah, I've managed to scrapbook quite a few layouts using this collection. It's a beautiful collection. It's not a company that I've heard of before, so I'm excited to see what else they come out with soon. And just, yeah, adding some sequins there that I had laying on my desk. Thought I'd just to add a bit of sparkle in there. Once you start, you can't stop with sequins, I find. Well, that's me personally anyway. If I could add them to every layer, I probably would, and I probably should actually, because I do love them. And yeah, still deciding where I want to place that cloud in the top right hand corner. So while I think about that, I'll start adhering everything else down. And just adding some foam just to pop up those little butterflies there. I was going to let it lay flat, but then I decided against it because I do like to add a bit of height to my layouts. And they're beautiful butterflies. I can never get enough of butterflies. So I think I grabbed 2 or 3 sheets of that pattern paper because they are beautiful. And yeah, then decided that I needed to add, along with my stitching, just a few outlines just to help ground the layout. And the grit was working against me a little bit there because of the clear gesso, but that's okay. And stapling down some of those edges, adding a date, which I always like to do. And then I'm just going to finish up with a little bit of journaling down the bottom there and just making sure that everything is adhered. And I do come in with this little star punch that I bought from a cheap shop here. It's a tiny little star, and I thought I've come this far with all these bits and bobs, clouds, sequins, butterflies. Why the heck not throw in a couple of more stars? So you'll see me do that in a moment with that beautiful mint green in the background. Oh, Bernie, just put that cloud down. There it is. Who knew that it would be so trivial? So yeah, so adding in a couple of those clouds, and look, I'm going to call it done. I love this layout, and I will leave a link down below to the free cut file from the Paper Issues store. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed this process video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye now.